Hey, I'm so excited to share this content with you. I'm just going to take a second to share this live to my personal page and we're going to dive right in. I'm so excited to share with you about creating a purpose-driven business, and I really want to talk about my personal story and how I got started doing this like over 7 years ago, really. I think it's going to be kind of funny and kind of interesting for you to know just the very straight up, practical, simple path that I took to get to where I am today. And it's really something that I want to support you with. So let's see. Okay. Shared pro tip number one. And let me just put it in one more place in my Sexy Sacred Business group. Let's see. Okay. Done. Okay, y'all. So fun. So let me talk about this. I am so passionate about you living your purpose on a daily basis. And really what I see is that when we're pulled to live our purpose, if we really have that pull. So I'm not talking to just like anybody who just like loves doing something and they really enjoy it. I'm talking to you who are like so enamored, so in love with their soul yearning that you don't want to do anything else in the world other than living that full time. Because, that's the place that I was in, and that's where I see that there is this, like, yeah, okay, you will, like, when that will happens, you will be able to create a purpose-driven business, okay? So when you have that will, that your soul yearning is so powerful that you know that you don't want to do anything else other than just living this, that's when you will be successful. And that's who I'm talking to give these practical tips to make that shift into creating your livelihood based on your passion. Because and the other trap I see people falling into is that people who are so driven that have this dream that are like, oh yeah, I want to live this dream of mine, though I'm really deep in this 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 right now. So I just do a little bit, I just have that like 30 minutes before I'm like super tired and can't do anything else. And I'm speaking like from direct experience of a couple people who are living this right now, and I just kind of build it like crumb by crumb. So I'm going to give you some, I'm going to tell you my story, and I hope that that kind of serves as a reflection for you to maybe just, maybe you'll have some ideas of how to give yourself this space and this time and really kind of like get yourself into creating a life that's serving your soul. Because really the planet needs you to do that. Humanity needs you to do that. If you have that soul urge to live your calling, and you have that soul, and maybe you don't know like what your calling is. You don't need to know that right now. That's okay. Though when you know that you've got to live a life that's full and that's epic and that's totally based on you, okay? When you know that you need that, that's, I'm talking to you. So, okay. It's so funny because I haven't really spoken about this story of mine. So I'm going to share it with you now, and I'm just kind of like giggling about it. So in around like 2010, 2011 was when I really started to say, hey, you know what? I got to do something different. So I was on track. I thought I was going to go to medical school. I really wanted to do healing. So ever since I was a little girl, I said like, I'm going to be a doctor. Okay. So as soon as I was kind of in that crunch and like studying for the path that med school gives you when you're still in your bachelor degree years, I was in Canada at McMaster University, and I was going and doing the MCATs, and I was kind of looking at my scores, and I was like, okay, like, is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? And I was really in this crunch period. And thankfully at the time, my partner wanted to move to Montreal, so we were living kind of beside my university town, and we were like, hey, let's go to Montreal and I'll finish a semester remotely. And that was a really good move, even though I thought like, whoa, how's this gonna work? I'm pushing for this. And at that time, I was already like, a part of me was letting go of this med school vision because I saw that it required like too much like stuffing of myself, basically. I felt like I was really putting myself in this box. It required tunnel vision of me. And as soon as we moved to Montreal and I kind of got this breathing room from even the university environment, because I started to do a semester remotely, I started to look around myself, and that's when I really allowed myself to sort of expand out of this stuffing energy. And what happened was that I realized that, well, first of all, I admitted to myself that the path of med school as it is presented to our society right now, super grateful to the people who are going down that, and it wasn't going to be the path that would satisfy my soul. And I live a life where my soul and my deep soulful breathing is of the utmost importance to me. So I gave myself permission at that time to admit that to myself and to structure my life in accordance with that. And that meant like doing the hard thing and telling my family, who were kind of, expecting that I would go to med school, telling my partner, telling kind of like myself that, whoa, I'm not going to do that. That was really difficult because, my whole life as I said, since being a little girl, I was kind of on this track. I put myself on that conveyor belt. Though as soon as I like had those teary nights and that dark time of like, oh my God, if I'm not going to do this thing that I've been kind of aiming at for years, for like over a decade, right? Over a decade of schooling, what am I going to do? And that's really when I expanded, and it felt so good. I literally felt like I took like a vice, like, those things that like kind of, you can put it on a table, it can hold the table, you can put it on your head, in like some torture situation. And it just like constrains you. And I felt like I took my brain out of that, and it was like, boom, whoa, okay. So I guess the first thing I want to tell you is like, where might you be either putting yourself in a situation or feeling like you're kind of trying to fit your large self into this very tight and narrow expression, okay? And that's kind of the first thing, just like, whoa, okay, what's here? And that's when like the plants really started like speaking to me. I started to really see that I was into plants and into herbalism. And I started to, and that also started to inform how I made my home. So I really started to create my home I started to do all organic, absolutely no chemicals in my home. I like went through the pantry and like did the classic thing of just, taking everything away that wasn't, natural, absolutely organic. I started to wildcraft medicines from the forest, or even start to look at the plants growing near my home and start to get to know them and realize how much healing was actually right there, that I could use on a daily, like on a, multiple times a day basis for myself. So I started to see that I could live my dream of healing, of being in touch with healing, of bringing healing to others, that I started to see that I could live that on a daily basis. So that's another thing that I want to tell you. When you're taking yourself out of that box, if you have put yourself in one, and it's very common for us to have multiple boxes that we've stuffed ourselves in just by society. And when we start to take ourselves out of that and we say, whoa, my passion isn't like down the line out there somewhere. My passion is available to me, accessible to me right here, right now. So I really want to encourage you to look at your life in a way that's like, how can I live this thing that I'm super into? Is there a way that I'm actually already living it moment by moment? And that is actually like right now I could get into it even more. Okay. So once I started to do that for myself, I got really into fermentation and, the kind of like the philosophy of it and the symbiosis. Like I wrote this big manifesto of, of how like fermentation is this big, like holographic symbol, um, of symbiosis, of cultural symbiosis, human symbiosis. I won't get into that right now. I could rip on that, okay? Maybe some other time. But I just want to let you know that I got really deep into fermentation. And what happened was that I started to, so I had scobies from kombucha. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I won't go into that right now. I had kefir grains, like milk kefir grains and water kefir grains. And those things multiply as you ferment. And then, you can either throw them out, you can give them to someone. And I chose to give them to someone, but not just, okay, I'm getting really excited about this. So, I posted on Craigslist, right? So things like Craigslist it's possible to use that. I don't know how applicable it is right now, now that so many things have expanded and we're using so many other media outlets right now, but I used Craigslist at that moment and I was like, do you want to learn how to make kombucha, how to make kefir? I will come to your home and I will teach you. I will walk you through the process. I will make your first batch together. That's what I was telling people. I will make your first batch with you, and I will bring everything you need to completely have all the tools, all the ingredients you need to get you started. Okay. So it wasn't just like, hey, I have some extra scobies, like come by and just grab one. Okay, no, I was like, man, I'm so passionate about this. I want to give this knowledge to you. I want to teach you how to do this. I want to set you up. I want to make sure you integrate this into your lifestyle. And people like really loved it. Okay, like I had a lot of people coming to me, coming to my house. I was going to other people's house, and I was bringing, of course, all organic, right? So I was bringing this organic sugar, organic tea, a stainless steel strainer. What I want to tell you is that basically I went big and I started like enrolling people into this lifestyle, okay? Which is so funny. And it was great because I saw the issue of, hey, somebody might want to integrate fermentation into their life and they could pick up this SCOBY, these grains, but they may not know how to do it. Information online is great, but how much better is it to have someone in person walking you through it, telling you how to do it? And I got to be honest with you, I was charging peanuts to do that. Like I was just charging like at cost plus $5 or something really ridiculous like that. Because I was just so passionate about it and I had no concept of pricing and business and strategy. Hey, Natty, I had no concept of that. So I just wanted to like live my passion and do it and connect with people who were really into it. And that's what I was doing in Montreal like over 7 years ago. And another thing I really love to do was, again, bring people this lifestyle of like organic herbal living. So I was doing workshops about how to restructure your kitchen, take what you got to take out, what you got to bring in just to make that transition super easy. And I was bringing these like gift baskets to people that I was saying like, hey, if you want to start living natural and organic and you want to replace, your body wash, your toothpaste, your deodorant, I know it can be a headache shopping for brands and all this. I got it. I got you. Let me bring you a full basket of everything you need if you're into like, boom, redoing this right now. Okay, so I found a way, like back when I don't feel like that was super popular back in like 2011, 2012, okay? I feel like it was kind of getting there. Maybe I just wasn't in the bubble or something. But people who I was talking to were like, whoa, that's cool. So it's really interesting. When you're passionate about something, there is a way, is what I want to tell you. There is a way. There is, let your creativity flow. Utilize all the resources you have. Maybe you are posting on Craigslist. Maybe you are, now it's kind of, I'm seeing it's like Facebook and LinkedIn, but don't get overwhelmed. Like stay aligned with your actual passion. And the funny thing is that to this day, like what I'm really passionate about is people living an amazing life, right? So what I was doing there when I was bringing these scobies and kefir grains and an organic basket to people, I was just passionate about them being healthy, vital, excited about living this incredible life, connecting with this life. And myself, that back then and to this day, I wildcraft herbs, I collect spring water, I create my own thing at home. So, and that keeps me joyful. That keeps me grounded and elevated. So I'm going to show you this. I'm super proud of it. Okay. This is a fermented drink that I'm making over here where I am. I don't have my kombucha scobies. I don't have my milk kefir grains. So I looked up like what kind of fermentations are local to where I am, which is just like, in the tropical southern region right now. And this is tepache, which is made with pineapple skins. And I just kind of went wild with it. So I just added, like, intuitively added herbs to it. It smells like Damiana, which is this incredible aphrodisiac herb. Another thing I was doing back then was teaching people about aphrodisiacs, just like how to run this like sensual energy within themselves, in a way that made you feel good, in a way that didn't put any pressure on you, but just to love yourself, which is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, so yummy. Okay, I'm gonna taste it. It's so good. Like, it's bubbly, it's beautiful. So I just love this. And the thing I want to tell you also is that your passions, your this soul urge has been with you throughout your whole life. So wherever you're at in this journey right now, just release the going after, like making it a business or making money. Just release that part for now. And just be like, what do I love? What do I keep bringing to wherever I am? And what is like the diamond of it, right? So the form of it could change, the way that you express it could change, but what is that thing that you're carrying with you to every year, to every friend, to every community that you're in? So maybe you want to tell me right now if you're identifying that, like drop it in the comments. Because, for me, it's this inspiration that I want you to live your purpose, okay? If you have the desire, I'm going to make it happen with you. And the way that I see that becomes really juicy and really easy is when we bring it back to our body. And like I'm saying, run that sensual, like yummy, this life is yummy, that energy, okay? And because the body also holds all the limiting beliefs, all the trauma, all the memories of like, no, I can't do it. Who am I to step out? Who am I to put a price on like my soul urge passion, right? So when we go through the body, I've seen over and over these past like 7+ years of doing it myself, working with people, and like enrolling them in these lifestyles. Yeah, dot connector for people, super passionate about living your truth. Yes. Okay, so we're just like on the same vibe here. Dot connector, I love it. I'm watching a lot of David Icke right now, and he calls himself the dot connector. Is that like, are you into that at all? I love that that concept, right? Yeah, we deserve to live this life in a beautiful, free, joyful way. And the thing is, the incredible thing that I'm seeing is that us like waking up in that way, bringing our passion forward, and actually, yeah, monetizing our passion. Oh, cool. You don't know David Icke? It's okay. That's a wormhole. Let's just leave that for now. Us monetizing our passion is actually like, it's necessary, and I know it's what will shift this earth into the next like golden age, into the awakening. So really, like, what I say is that if you have that soul urge, it's actually your pleasure. You get to, and I'm almost gonna say it's part of your soul's mission to release everything that's in the way of you, bringing that forward in a way that will actually bring big money to you. I'm just gonna put it right out there, because we need awakened, passionate people that know that living your truth is essential and important and beautiful. We need more of us bringing money through ourselves and funneling it to the projects and the people and to our own life in a way that like starts to shift the balance. Okay, starts to I love herbs, as I said in the beginning. I love herbs. I use reishi and maitake and chaga and shiitake. I want to give like 20 grand to startup farms. I just want to be like, here you go, because I believe in your mission. So I can't do that if I'm also not attracting and open and to receiving money in a big way, right? So at this point, from 7 years ago, bringing people this knowledge that I was doing back then at cost, loving it, super passionate about it, just with like literally like, oh, just pay me $5, okay? That was 7 years ago. Today I'm saying, hey, let's talk about how you are going to do this in a very profitable way, that doesn't have you needing to work another job, in a way that like shifts you, that now your purpose driven business is your 100% life experience, daily experience. Because I also see that when we have, 100% of our time, of our chosen like work time to give to our business, that's when it really starts to make rapid leaps. That's when our beliefs start to like rapidly crack open, and we really elevate ourselves as leaders, as truth speakers, as magnetic messengers. So, well, comments, gotta scroll. Yes, soul mission. All about the herbs and superfoods. My vision is to bring superfoods and healing into an orphanage that I expand through my nonprofit. Exactly. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for doing that. Like, there's so many places for us to plug into in this planet. Okay. There are so many places that need our passion, like need our energy. So when we are stewards of this kind of energy, it's really up to us to find the ways to reach for the coaches. Another thing I want to say is that, 7+ years ago, like 2010, 11, 12, again, maybe I wasn't in the bubble, though I wasn't exposed to coaching, to business coaching in the way that I see it available right now. So how cool would it have been for me? And, all in divine timing, that was awesome, because I got to work through that, live my purpose for this, like, for all these years, and now be at a place where I'm inviting you to be coached, by me, literally by anyone else that you want to hold the hands of. So, it would have been really cool for me to apply what I know now back then, because I could have like launched into something super quick. First, I get to zoom in and keep growing my business to be able to complete my vision. Oh, thanks, Maddie. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? So, it's like all of what we do gets to be purpose driven, is what I want to say. All of what we do gets to be that, and we get to be so deeply excited about what we're doing, that that we just expanded, just keep going further and further with it. So back then, I was, driving to people's houses, teaching about fermentation and herbalism and superfoods and wild crafting, all of that. And I was working another job, which actually was really kind of minimal. It was work from home. I had a lot of time to myself to research and write and do a lot, on my own. That said, it's cool when even that is not necessary, and you can kind of make that leap to doing 100%, like bringing in income and teaching people and living, whatever it is you want to do, whatever, if you're teaching people or you're product based or you're just service based, whatever it is. I just want to say how fantastic it is that right now there's these resources and this knowledge, and all these hands that we get to hold to be like, hey, I want to expand this. I want to expand into this in such a way that I get to do that 100%. So, okay, let me just see like a couple practical steps again that I can give you. So we talked about just using all the resources that you have, like Craigslist, like go ahead and put a workshop on there, or put a like, hey, do you want to meet up, and do you want to learn about this, and we'll meet at a coffee house, and I just want to give you a little download about this. So if you're in an area where something like that is really active, utilize it, right? Also, really a practical step I want to give you is like find a coach, like work with someone who can give you that strategy, that structure, that those steps, right? To cut away the guessing and the kind of like the less than effective kind of, oh, what should I do next? I'm doing this, but really this one thing would like catapult me. Like find someone to follow, to implement. There's a lot of free resources out there. That said, when I invested in one-on-one work, that's when I really shifted. And I just want to let you know that that's awesome. It's awesome to get that one-on-one, like a friend basically being there for you, who's gone there before you, who's done it, and who's like, hey, like we can do this. Here's your steps. Let's do it. So that's another practical thing. Another practical thing, so the thing I mentioned about like, hey, Craigslist or however you want to do it is getting in front of people, connecting with people, talking to people, right? Like, hey, let's get on the phone together for 30 minutes. If you're if you're in a city and you're like in a hub and you're just like, let's meet, in this location that's right beside my home and you want to do that, great. Those Zoom and everything, it works right now too. Reaching out to people, writing to people. Hey, I have this idea. Like, can I just, do this back and forth with you for a second? Can I just get your opinion on, what you need in this area? So like super, super important thing is getting in front of people, starting those conversations. Back then, I was going to superfood stores or co-ops or like farm share places too. And I was like, hey, can I host a workshop here? And can you promote my workshop? So, there's all sorts of ways to do it. I had another like little practical thing for you. I guess another super important thing is just keep your energy high, right? Do that thing that keeps you happy and keeps you jazzed. And that's what I'm doing with, fermenting stuff for myself and discovering local herbs. And my clients actually get a couple herbal recommendations from me depending on, what we're talking about, because I love adaptogens. I love medicinal mushrooms. So it's not a focus of my work right now because I'm speaking to the people who want to launch into being those leaders of the new age, because I know that the more people out there doing that, the faster we're actually going to shift this planet, which is what I'm all about. So when you talk to me, like, be prepared to be introduced to some herbs, depending on what we're doing together. So good, so good. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna like, I'm gonna give you today. I heard this phrase yesterday, like fire hosing with information. I feel like that's what I just did. I'm just like, woo. Okay. So let me know how this lands for you. Let me know what you're working on. Okay, let's dialogue. Let's do this. I want you living your purpose. I want you like monetizing and creating good income from your soul urge. And that's really the age that we're in right now. That's really what I want to have like root in for you right now, is that all the limiting stuff, there's ways to drop it. Okay, commit to dropping it. Commit to being supported in dropping it. And know that actually when you have this urge, we need you to step up to make it really like here I am. Okay, so I'm fully committed to supporting you and doing that. Dialogue with me, drop me a comment, tell me what's holding you back, tell me your win, tell me if you've just done something and you're super proud of it. I want to watch you, I want to celebrate you. Okay, that's it, y'all. Enjoy. I'm going to be sipping my tepache here. Ciao.